I'm looking at it right now. I'm thinking my hair doesn't look good. But
let's not worry about that. My hair looked fucking dreadful last time. And looks dreadful all the time.
It looked really nice. So we just got back from Barcelona, went for the weekend. We went with our housemates. Oh, it's pulling me back. We went with our housemates. How often do you really go away with your housemates, especially people you've lived with for less than a year? But it was really, really good. Had a great time, and I think that is because we've got great housemates. Looking for housemates, looking for a house in London is so difficult, as I think we can all.
I absolutely think looking for a house in London is incredibly difficult. I think it's an expensive city. It's a city it's one of the most multicultural cities in the world. So you've got all sorts of different types of people who are looking for accommodation, place to rent. So you met with some incredibly strange people, incredibly nice people.
I love strangers.
We've had a few strangers, to come to various house visits.
And you have to filter out the strange ones quite soon, don't you? If you let them through your front door, that's already it's already too late.
Once they've got your address, you're fucked.
Sometimes
you come back in the middle of the night.
I pick those ones on purpose sometimes, just to mess with your head.
You've got to have a curveball, got to have a few afraid strangers.
Because it does get tiresome. It does get tiresome, like interviewing everyone all the time.
It does.
You need a few ones in the mix.
Just put the sharp knives away, like a separate room or something, and then get the strange ones in.
But looking for like the perfect housemate is a weird thing, like you said. Like, you know, you have to get everyone in and like structured. The time is. It's like a weird form of speed dating. I mean, I've never been speed dating, but that's how I assume it is. And for that reason, I would never go.
In a short space of time, you've got to make a decision on someone who's essentially going to live with you, well, for the indefinite future.
And I think I've said this to you before. I think people do not appreciate that. People are like, stick an ad on, get a few people around, they pay rent. It's like, no, you live with these people. You're going to be in the kitchen with them in the evening. You're going to be in the living room with them while you're watching, the football.
You're going to go to European cities with them.
You're going to go to European cities with them if you
watching the football.
Absolutely, watching the football like we did, seeing Lionel Messi score a lovely goal this weekend. But yeah, people need to get into their head like you're going to live with this person. This isn't just another person in the street. This is someone who you're sharing the shower with, not together, possibly.
I'm envious of the situation they've managed to forge, which is 4 great people in one house, and I think that's almost near impossible. So I want to know what's your magic formula. How the hell did you do it?
Well, it's an age ago. First time I moved to London, I lived in Tooting, and I went the more conventional route, which was seeing an ad online, going to them. They were kind of happy enough with me. I was happy enough with them. Moved in, and it wasn't great. It was a bad year. So the next place I moved into, which
the whole year was awful.
The whole year was just god awful. It dictated the whole year. But in a weird way, it did, because I didn't like going back to that house.
No. Mood is important.
So next time, moved up to Clapham, I decided to find the housemates and not the house. So found 4 other people wanted to move in with, 2 guys, 2 girls. It was a big like X Factor style process of like finding people, whittling them down, and then afterwards found the perfect house. And because we had the perfect housemates, and crucially, I think we're all moving in together at the same time.
It wasn't a cliquey house.
No hierarchy, no nothing.
Absolutely no hierarchy. So that just made it a far easier, nicer living situation immediately.
But that's not always possible. That situation isn't always possible.
Well, you don't always have the luxury of time, do you?
No, of course. So I mean, from my side, I've been on both situations where I've been looking for a place and being the one interviewed. And I've seen some bad interview techniques. Terrible. And also,
what's the weirdest question you've ever asked?
I've ever asked or been asked.
That you've been asked.
Blimey, I think it was almost like straight up, do I have kids? And that was just a
you look like the child rearing type.
It was like a weird question. I was thinking, no, I don't. But
do you have like a buggy with you?
I don't like.
Yeah, but I think the one that sticks in my mind was less about questions. I don't really remember that much about the questions, but the timing they gave me. I remember when I was still looking around. It was also like 10 minutes. Someone was already turning up to the next viewing, and I just thought, okay, that's
not great.
Give a good amount of time.
To be fair, we messed up doing that. And the last round of people who came to view our house, usually Alex does all the kind of planning and the admin and the scheduling. I did it this time.
That was a mistake, let me tell you.
And we had 2 people turn up at the same time, so it was weird. I think we did really well though.
Maybe they could both live together, and that could be like
we might start a beautiful relationship.
One of them moved in, so. Wait, no,
neither of them.
Okay, so that makes sense. But I think we winged it quite well. We interviewed them together, but it was weird. It was like they were competing against each other for the sole spot, and then they walked to the train station together. Like,
that was strange.
I wonder what was said.
I want to know what that conversation was like.
I do.
So who do you reckon won?
I reckon one of them pushed the other in front of a bus or something.
Maybe we've got blood on our hands here.
Maybe. Through my bad planning.
Mate, I've told you this before, your bad planning will one day kill someone. It's quite possibly happened.
It may have already happened.
Yeah.
I think it all comes down to the questions you ask. I think you said you've got these people in front of you for a short amount of time, and you've got to get under the skin of who they are, what they're all about, and you can't take it on face value. You've got to ask them questions.
Yeah.
And one of my ones that you've got to subtly ask, not explicitly, but I'm always interested if they have a boyfriend or girlfriend. If they bring someone else in, and that's someone who's going to basically be another housemate, who's going to take your water.
Get off
coming with a massive jug and be like, I'll be having that.
Who's just going to be there in your space. And
Drinking your water.
The key thing is you can't. Okay, you can ask if you've got a boyfriend or girlfriend, but it's you want to be sensitive to that.
You want to be subtle about
it. And I think the way to do that is asking things like, have you got any holidays booked, who you go on holiday with, those sort of things.
Absolutely.
Just to kind of get a little bit info, but don't ask them directly. I think that's...
You're absolutely right. You're right. It's not asking the direct question, it's asking it indirectly. So the ones that me and Vish had, which sound super generic, and they are, but there's answers that if they give these, we're dismissive.
You can work a lot more out.
Absolutely. Is taste in music.
Yeah. So again, if they say a certain genre, you know what sort of night out they like, what their kind of personal vibe is. Taste in music's one. So what's his one? Film. Favourite film,
yeah.
If they say Shawshank Redemption, they're probably not for us.
Ladies and gentlemen, you've heard all the evidence.
Not that it's not a great film, because it's an incredible film, but it's just a bit, it's what
Yeah.
everyone says, favourite film, Shawshank Redemption.
It's like you looked up the answer to give to the housemate question, before you come over. Yeah, don't say that. And if it's music, going back to that very quickly, don't say I'm into a bit of everything. Everyone's into a bit of everything.
Yeah.
We all like a bit of music, but be a bit more definitive. Show us your personality.
Give me some gigs you've been to recently.
Exactly.
Tell me a band you like.
You live in London, don't you? Like, come on, you must have done this stuff, yeah. But the curveball we throw, so those are the generic ones. The curveball that Vish came up with last time we had, it was not evidently clear at the moment, me and Vish lived together.
Yeah.
In this wonderful abode.
He interviewed me, actually.
I did, and you'd only viewed one house and you got this one straight away.
I hated looking for a house.
Well, you only viewed one house.
Yeah. Yeah. So
basically what you're saying is you hated coming around here.
Well, I was trying dry January for the first time, and do you want a beer? I was like, yeah, cool, I'll have a beer. None of you drank.
No.
I was just sat on your sofa drinking a beer. On this sofa.
That's right.
So when we had some housemates around, by the way, I don't live with these guys, I'm trying to move in, but I live in Hackney, which is much cooler than Archway. But we set it up, so we bought like sweets and stuff like that, so it was like a nice environment. Because I kind of thought, even if they're weird and we don't like them, we want to make, give them sweets. They remember that house as being like a nice experience.
I bet you didn't pat out any water though.
No, just sugary sweets. I think as well, one other thing, it's not just the questions you ask them, because that's important. When you ask them, have they got any questions for you? If they go, nah, it's like, that's alarm bell.
No, you want to have questions.
I want them to have a think about what sort of questions they're going to ask us. That way they're interested in you as people. I think that's important.
And that's because it's implicit, it's like implying that they don't, they're not risk takers, because basically, like at an interview, you don't want to ask anything that's going to ruffle the feathers of the person interviewing you. So if you're prepared to do that, you're a risk taker, i.e. more interested in, more, you're going to take risks and stuff like that, so you're more, more our type of person. We're saying all this, if you're the type of person who wants a quiet person who lives in their room, ignore all this advice, because this is not going to help you find that person. But if you want someone who, like we've just had a brilliant holiday in Barcelona, then, in fact, Amy! That's Amy, who came to us with Barcelona's recently moved in.
And Courtney, who is upstairs.
Yeah.
Courtney and I actually got matching tattoos, so, well shit, we are close.
Let's go 3 months matching tattoos.
A little bit creepy. What was the key difference between them and like, I don't know, someone else? What did they, apart from not liking Shawshank Redemption and liking specific musical artists, what was the reason? There must have been something there.
Their chat was really good.
Chat was good,
the conversation flowed really naturally. They made us laugh.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not to say the other people didn't make us laugh as well. They were just, I think you can sometimes you can just kind of tell when there's like chemistry there.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's like a relationship in a way. The elusive
It is.
spark
It
is
is
there
really,
or not there,
yeah.
really.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then once you feel that spark, but it is, it is a combination of those questions. You say, what is the main thing? I think we learnt those things because we sort of followed this plan, which we've, finessed over however many years we've lived in London. And as a result, we live in a happy family like this where we can, go on trips abroad and stuff, which is nice.
Yeah, and Adam will eventually definitely move in. There's an extra
this is I sleep here a lot most nights.
You're literally sleeping on this bed.
I'm going to
tonight.
sleep on this bed tonight. It's not even a bed. It's a sofa.
It's a comfy sofa. This is what sold it for me, I think. The sofa.
Yeah, the sofa. Yeah, so ignore all the advice. It's actually
Get some really good seating, and you're onto a winner.
And I'm gonna say